The eerie surrealness that is the universally shared experience of people who listen to Crystal Castles and truly do relate and resonate with their music is something that is worth examining, worth talking about, and worth shining a light on. I want to go into this with a preface that I don't want to get into the allegations in this video. I don't want to touch that, it's not my place to, and that's not what I want this video to be defined by. Just know that I have researched and I understand the allegations, why they broke up, everything leading to that breakup, and this video is in no way going to be condoning that or lack thereof. It's solely going to be about the musicality of Crystal Castles and how it relates to people and why so many people get so much out of it. There was a period in my life where Crystal Castles really did mean a lot to me. I listened to their music regularly and they really spoke to me on a deep emotional level that I could not quite put a finger on at the time. It was one of those musical experiences that you can't put your finger on, that it's not our tangible reality. And I understand that sounds like lunacy, that sounds crazy, it sounds over the top, and like you can't even begin to describe that. But strap yourselves in for a little bit of a philosophical excursion into why I think Crystal Castles really does hit for a lot of people. I have always noticed one thing, pretty much always, whenever I see people talking about Crystal Castles, they aren't just saying, oh, this sounds great, or oh, this sounds bad. It is them describing something as if they literally went into a lucid dream in musical form. When a piece of music is made in such a way that it grasps the unimaginable to the listener, it is always something that is intriguing and fascinating to people who can't quite put it into words properly. We as a society, when it comes to art, love putting things into words. We love putting things into boxes, and when we cannot properly find the correct words in our vocabularies to describe a feeling that we are feeling as a result of an art form, it really does make us feel as if we're experiencing something that is truly one of a kind. It can be a very eerie and surreal experience to not be able to put words to a feeling that is inside of you, something speaking to you so deeply and shaking you to your core that it is a little scary, that it is a little unsettling. And that's exactly how I feel when I listen to Crystal Castles. And I'm not a psychologist, I'm a person with a fucking camera, a dipshit with a camera on the internet that has a lot of like mental health examinations and things that I do for myself and for other people, and as a result of that I think I'm semi-qualified to be able to talk on the reason that I think Crystal Castles appeals to so many people, so I can hopefully provide a little bit of an explanation as to why people feel what they do. There is a concept within psychology and within mental health in general that is referred to as derealization or depersonalization, and it is something that I routinely have struggled with, something that I still struggle with, and something that I haven't really opened up to people about struggling with unless you're very close to me. And it is a scary feeling that takes over your entire body, and the best way I can describe it for someone that maybe doesn't know what that is or feels it but isn't aware that's what they're feeling, is it feels like you are on cloud nine, like you are floating. It feels like you are disconnected from not only your body but reality around you. The permanence of objects, the permanence of the things that surround you can feel misaligned, can feel out of whack. Things can feel farther away or closer than they really are. Things will start to lack dimension and almost become desaturated. And some of what I'm saying is metaphorical. Some of what I'm saying can be literal, and it can fuck with your concept of both yourself and your reality. It can mess with your sense of self, and this lackadaisical feeling can make long periods of time pass without you having any recollection of what the fuck is happening, and you can feel so woozy, hazy, and it's like every thought that you are trying to manufacture is thought through a thick wall of fog, and no matter what is stepping on the outside of that, that mental barrier, that mental fog physically cannot be broken. You cannot put a thought to it. You cannot get past that. It is a deep, dark pit that once you sink into, it can open the door to so many things, whether it be like intrusive thoughts, whether it be some sort of like depressive episode or bipolar episode, or even like psychosis symptoms where you literally start to slip away from what is real or what is not. It can even produce hallucinations in very extreme cases of people with like schizoaffective affective disorder, schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, as well as things relating to DID and OSDD. There are a lot of branches to it, but overall, depersonalization and derealization is an extremely unsettling, serious thing that you should not fuck with whatsoever, because it can be destructive. It can break your sense of self, especially if it's something that you routinely experience and have to combat. And much of the time, the zoned out nature that you will sink into will not be detectable by people until it's too late. And by the time they do realize it, you're just out of it. Something can seem off. Something can seem like you've slipped a little bit, that you are non-communicative, just non-verbal entirely, or your mannerisms and body language become different. And it can be extremely terrifying when you are stuck in that. And Crystal Castles and the way that they produce their music and write their music captures this better than I have ever heard anything. And this is coming from someone who has routinely listened to ambient music in an attempt to capture those emotions and feelings strong enough to describe how I personally am feeling. And I can honestly say, as someone who has experienced the vast majority of the symptoms that I just described to you, this band was able to successfully embody and be the embodiment of those emotions, those feelings, and make them tangible and bring these disconnected, fractured thoughts into the musical format. And I think that's one reason that people feel so taken aback by this. They blew up in a time in the internet age where a lot of people were dealing with similar things and similar symptoms. And from a variety of mental health perspectives, the people that adopted this band usually fit into a specific category. And for the people that didn't feel in that category, there was kind of different groups. But when you had people that didn't understand what depersonalization or derealization was actually like, they were suddenly hearing this musical format that was unlike anything that they had ever heard. It predated things like Witch House and things like hyperpop and all of these electronic genres that Crystal Castles were pretty much instrumental in helping to develop and set the foundation and building blocks for. And for people that did experience those symptoms but didn't have a word for it, didn't have a definition or proper way of diagnosing it, it opened the door for a whole new slew of opportunity to understand themselves better, because for the first time they were feeling sort of like a liminal space, like the fucking backrooms, like they just slipped into like the 58th level of the backrooms, where suddenly the unimaginable and the things that did not make sense about their emotional state and that sort of instability suddenly clicked and made sense. So on both sides of the spectrum, you had people who understood their symptoms and kind of had this feeling in them for a while that was suddenly being explained through music, combined with the people that didn't understand it whatsoever and didn't experience that, feeling these emotions and seeing these things put out there and never hearing anything like it. It's rare to see a project that successfully takes that and puts it into a musical format. The droning levels of the variety of influences that they put into their music at the time, revolutionizing so many genres and pushing the boundaries and envelopes of what was capable of with noise and distortion and different shades of electronic music coming together, and it being so atypical in the way it came across. There was a lot of musicality here that hadn't really been dabbled with, or if it had, it hadn't breached through into the mainstream quite like them, to the point to where even now that they are disbanded, they are still doing massive numbers every single month, every single year, with new people discovering them. And if you go under the comment section of any Crystal Castle song, or you go on forums or that type of stuff, not only do the things that they tackle really speak to people, and they tackled some really big topics that you rarely see talked about, you're also seeing a bunch of people say the same thing and reiterate it over and over, that they are hearing something that they have never heard before, something that no other band has been able to successfully do. And the fact everyone has this shared experience regardless of your background, I think that is the explanation to why so many people enjoy Crystal Castles in that way, and what that feeling is, that odd feeling that tingles people, I guess. And I hope, just from my own perspective, that provided a little bit of clarity sort of from the inside and gave you a new perspective of why that music resonates so much with people, and maybe why it resonates so much with you, if you do resonate with them at all. And for those that haven't checked them out, I definitely suggest doing so, specifically their debut self-titled album. You are in for quite the fucking ride, and that's all I'll say. What are your guys' opinions of Crystal Castles? Have you had a similar experience, or what is your unique unique experience of their music. Do you not get that feeling whatsoever, or do you? There is no wrong answer. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear it and discuss it with you guys. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.